going to snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Bulls touchdown.
And here he goes. It's Hester inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. Picked off. Look out. Hit past Manning, and it's Tracy Porter taking it all the way. Touchdown, New Orleans.
You're listening to the Pigskin Project, the world's #1 football podcast. Now, with more insights on all things football, here are your hosts, Ben Hansen and Ryan Matthews. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live after a little bit of a delay. Just because we had some very fortunate events, not unfortunate, but fortunate. This is, I gotta say, just as like part of the introduction, Ben, this is your last episode home. It sucks. It's gonna be it's gonna be a while before we're able to do this again. Hopefully.
Okay. Last again in person. The podcast is going on.
It'll keep going for as long as internet is available. But I will say, I mean, it sucks not being able to do this in person as much as we'd like. It very much sucks, but hopefully next time that we're able to do it in person, either A, it'll be in the near future, or B, this podcast would have blown up by then. And then, or C, both. The season would be underway.
You're
It'll
probably be winter. My guess is it's probably going to be winter. It's would be my guess is when we do it in person.
Yes.
For those who don't know, I'm going to Bloomington. I go to IU for school. But this year compared to last year, I officially am like moving full time to Bloomington.
Yeah.
So I'm no longer going to be living up here in the northwestern Indiana region area. Like he said, it's the last time for a little bit. We'll do this in person, but as we said, the pod will continue.
Yes, for sure.
And we will do this in person again. If not for the draft, hopefully sooner.
Yep.
But yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, who knows too? Because I mean, I'll be going down in November for, I should be going down in November. I'm not going to put myself there. Should be going down in November to Indianapolis for the state championships for my broadcasting job. Hopefully, then we'll be able to, see each other then, maybe do a live podcast there. Maybe I'll take a day off. I don't know. Maybe I'll do something crazy. But hopefully we can do something like that. If not, I mean, I'm sure we'll figure something out down the road. With the scouting combine staying in Indianapolis, with that news being official, heck, we might be able to do that again too. So
yes.
But without further ado, let's go ahead and get it started. We'll talk about our experience later with the Bears game, but for right now, we're covering weekly news. Kareem Hunt requested a trade this week. Lots of trade requests, but let's go ahead and just dive right into Kareem Hunt. The Browns have respectfully declined this. They're like, I'm sorry, but that's just not happening.
Yep.
And they pretty much just said, no, get back to practice. I mean, they've got a lot of stuff to deal with right now.
Yes, there's so much going on in that franchise right now. And honestly, all the off the field stuff that's happening right now concerns me with how they're going to play in the season. Because if we look at all these great teams, there are teams that they can just put their head down and just go to work.
Yeah.
And looking at the bigger picture with the Browns, it seems like they have a lot of off this field distractions. I mean, if I'm the Browns, I wouldn't want to trade him either. So I completely get that as well. But speaking of trade requests, There's one that hits a little closer to home to you.
So Roquan Smith requested a trade. I want you to talk. We'll say your piece after you sneeze. Say your piece about it, and then I'll go on my little tangent, and then we can discuss further because I feel like you're going to disagree with me. But yeah, go for it.
No, I mean, I don't quite know where you. I would like to hope at this point I know where you stand on this, but I think it's crazy. I think the Bears kind of just need to buck up and just pay him at this point.
Yeah.
He's technically he hasn't made a Pro Bowl, but let's be honest, that's just fan service at this point. A Pro Bowl isn't really used as a measuring stick for success.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's phenomenal. I think he deserves to be paid like one of the top linebackers, and I think he should be paid like one of the top linebackers. And honestly, I think he's coming from the right spot, and I do think there's a holdup with him representing himself and not having an agent, and I think that's causing issues.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with his letter today, he jumped right over the GM and went straight to the owners.
Yeah.
And kind of in hopes that that's going to get the job done. But it sounds like he wants to stay, and for your sake and for all Bears fans' sake, I hope
some Bears fans,
besides the guys on the freaking train. But for most Bears fans' sake, I hope you guys can finally get it done. And for Roquan, he did get an offer. I think it was $19 million a year, which is just under Shaq Leonard's contract. I think we covered in this in the last episode, but gosh, why am I blanking on his name now? Colts linebacker, Shaq Leonard. What was his name?
Oh, Darius Leonard.
Yeah. So when I say Shaq Leonard, for those who don't know, we covered this on the last podcast. But Darius Leonard wants to be called Shaq Leonard now.
Very weird.
But he got offered $19 million. Roquan did. That's just under the leading market contract. That's Shaq Leonard's.
Yeah.
But the issue with that was it was all backloaded.
Mm-hmm.
So and I, if I'm Roquan, I'm trying to get as much money possible right now, and having a backloaded contract would concern me.
But I agree with that. At the end of the day, I mean, you're going to get your money, but still, you're not being paid what you should be paid for the numbers that you're putting up. And, everybody knows Roquan is, I mean, dare I say generational? Maybe?
Dare you say yes?
Yeah. So, generational is a big title, so I didn't want to just, throw it around. But what I will say, I mean, he's very deserving of the money that he should be getting very soon. I do not think he'll be traded, and I do not want him to be traded. And here's why. So the linebacker market isn't very strong.
No.
The thing is, for what he would be traded for,
his return value is
garbage.
Yeah.
And so, that, and you'd need to find a team that's going to pay him and play him. But at the end of the day, Roquan is hurting himself more than he is benefiting, in my opinion. The deal was going to get done one way or another. First off, let me just say it's on him for being stupid and not having an agent.
Yes.
What kind of an NFL player doesn't have an NFL agent, an actual agent to negotiate these things? That's not his job. His job is to
play football
and earn his money on the field, and his agent will do all the off-field stuff, schedule him, everything. As far as, what he's done, the Bears were doing him a favor by putting him on that PUP list.
Mm-hmm. And now he's off.
When he decided I'm going to take myself off of that, he screwed himself over.
Yeah.
Because now, for every practice he doesn't go to, for every game that he doesn't play in, like today, he got fined a lot of money, actually. I don't know if you've seen the number, but $575,000. He just sacrificed a little more than $500,000.
$500,000.
Just because he doesn't want to.
That's absurd.
Who does that? And especially for somebody that's only 25 years old on a rookie contract that's career can end like just like that.
Oh yeah.
$500,000 is a lot.
Yes.
You could do with that what you will, but the thing is, if you're constantly getting fined, if you're not going to be playing, they could freeze his contract if he doesn't appear in, I believe, 6 games this season. So, with that being said, this man is hurting himself. I do believe that Ryan Poles is going to get this done. I am without a doubt confident that it's going to happen. It's all a matter of when and not if. And how much money is this man sacrificing in the meantime? If you're a Chicago Bears fan and you say that this guy needs to be traded as soon as possible or just in general, you're an idiot and I hate you. I'm just kidding. But what I will say is I get frustrated. They were like, maybe a 5th round pick. The only reason why Khalil Mack got traded for a 2nd and a 4th is because of his massive contract. You're stupid. And you do not know what's going on. It's just, I mean, and we're only so limited too with our knowledge. But the thing is like when, I don't know, I don't want to sound too arrogant here, but it's very frustrating when you hear that because he's partially right. His trade value isn't high, but at the same time, it's higher than a 5th round pick.
Yes, it's high. I realistically, I think. If he were to get traded right now, his max trade value is probably a 3rd. This is fine. This is a sensitive mic. But his max trade value is probably a 3rd.
Yeah.
But to your point though, is if he has to appear in 6 games, he very well could come in, play a single game, or play a single snap and then leave the game. He appeared in 6 games. His contract won't get frozen. I'm not saying he should do that. But I'm saying there's loopholes around it for if he doesn't get paid, then he doesn't lose his money. But I at the end of the day, Poles has obviously shown interest and at least trying to take the step towards getting him to stay in Chicago, which he should.
For those of you that haven't heard, Poles he's literally come out and said, I thought the situation was better than it actually seems.
Yeah.
He came out and this was out of the blue, completely blindsided. And my top priority as of right now, as the GM of the Chicago Bears, is to keep Roquan and make sure that he is a Bear. Roquan has also stated that he wants to be a Bear, not only right now, but for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
He wants to be the next great Bear linebacker. I think he has potential to do that. Is he right now? No. But does he have potential to do so?
Be.
Absolutely. For both parties, it makes sense. Right now, it's all a numbers deal.
Yeah.
That's why I'm totally okay with it, because negotiations like this happen all the time.
And let's be honest, Poles has no reason to be stingy. You guys have a huge amount of cap next year.
Yes.
In the season after, and I understand. But cap continuously grows as well. Poles just needs to buck up, offer him the $21 million a year. That just needs to be the end of it. But I do think by midseason, honestly, I would say midseason for sure, but I'd be surprised if they get to the start of the regular season and he wasn't signed to at least a 4-year extension.
Yeah, no, for sure. And what I will say too is, as far as Roquan goes, for those of you that have heard that an anonymous party is reaching out to teams regarding, trying to draw trade interest in him, even if anything were to come out of those phone calls, that's just pointless.
Yeah.
I mean, you're hurting yourself again. From what I hear, there's no market for him right now. But let me just say,
serious, you'd get a market
potentially. But my thing is, look at the Deebo Samuel thing, and this is it's being compared to Deebo all the time, and for good reason too. And I think that he, on the defensive side of things, I mean he has a great impact, just as Deebo did for the 49ers.
Absolutely.
So I'm tiptoeing around it because I don't want to hype him up too much, but at the same time, I want to give him his credit.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Deebo got his money. Roquan's going to get his money at the end of the day. Lamar Jackson wants an extension before the beginning of the season. He's going to get his money at some point too. It's all just a big tactic, and Roquan knows that just as much as we do.
Yeah.
I don't want to go on that as any more than I have to.
Longer.
Let's see. So N'Keal Harry, another Bear, bad ankle injury. Bears wide receivers are getting hurt left and right. It's not necessarily the best thing for the Bears considering their room hasn't been strong. We'll get back to that later. Mekhi Becton also had a significant knee injury. And then so the Jets signed Dwayne Brown to a 2-year contract just to kind of fill that hole.
I like the signing.
Yeah.
He's a good solid tackle.
Yes.
I'm surprised he was still in the market for as long as he was because he's
Right.
been very, very well even to his age. The age was the issue. He's an older player. I think he's 40. But we
Jason Peters like signing.
Yeah. Well, he's better than Jason. The difference is Jason Peters was
age-wise bringing in a veteran. Yes.
Jason, but to my Dwayne Brown's better than him.
Yeah.
I mean, teams were scared to sign him based off his age, but we just saw Andrew Whitworth, one of the best tackles in the league at age 41, win a Super Bowl ring with the Rams.
Yeah.
So, the more advanced we get in medicals, the more players are going to be able to play into their mid 40s.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dwayne Brown will do it, and Mekhi Becton will come back at some point. He's expected to miss a major chunk of the season.
Yeah.
He might come back for the last 4 or 5 games.
Okay.
But if I'm a Jets fan, I'm more worried about the injury that happened.
Yes.
In the preseason
Zach
game
Wilson.
versus his.
He's hurt. I believe a report came out today saying that it was a torn meniscus and
A bone bruise.
So it could be very worse.
It could have been worse. Absolutely.
If anything, I would say he lucked out.
He did.
A meniscus tear is what I was hoping for me. But as far as that goes, a bone bruise sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, that takes several weeks to at least get rid of. He'll be playing with that for a while. But the meniscus tear, easily repaired, takes a few weeks, but he will be back.
Oh, I know.
We talked about this on the train earlier. If anything, this was the best time to get hurt.
Yes.
Because the recovery time for him is just good enough to where he can get back within the next 1 to 2 weeks of the starting season.
Yeah. He's expected, for those who don't know, he's expected to come back anywhere between week 2 to week 4, meaning he's going to be out anywhere between 5 to 7 weeks.
Yep.
Missing your quarterback for that long during the actual season is tough.
Mm-hmm.
To your point, if you're having your quarterback miss 7 games, I'd much rather have those 7 games come during preseason than the actual season. But their head coach did say that he believes that Joe Flacco is the starting quarterback in the league.
I'm riding the Mike White train till it dies out.
Yeah, I mean, I like Mike White. But Joe Flacco has
He's the better
experience. I
quarterback.
think Joe Flacco will play. But it's time for Robert to put his words where his mouth is.
Yes.
And we'll see how this team ends up doing. But in the other world of quarterback injuries, Matt Stafford is suffering from really bad elbow tendonitis, which has made it really hard for him to be a full participant in practice. But it's also made it really hard for him to throw the football as well as he should. And if this continues into the season, that's when it becomes an issue because, like I said, he's been a limited participant in practice because he's struggling to throw the football. Yeah. And if he's struggling to throw the football in the regular season, it's going to be tough because this team has high expectations. I mean, look at what they just did, and then they just added more talent. So,
speaking of teams with high expectations, the Browns starting center Nick Harris is out for the year with a knee injury. Dare I say they could bring back J.C. Treader? I mean, he's still available somehow.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
He knows the system outside of a few changes that they made for their quarterback, who has stunk it up, but it's besides the point. It's besides the point.
I'm not going to defend him, but at the same time, it was a preseason game, and it was the first time that he's played in a couple of years, and then it's also just a couple plays. People are overreacting, but at the same time, he deserves all the hate that he's getting.
Yes. But I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to go that route because, like I said, he knows the system. And he played, well when he was there. I'm surprised he's still in the freaking market now.
Yeah, with the Bears needing as
much help as they need on the offensive lineman, as we saw today.
Yeah.
So,
anyways, Ben, it's time to get started as far as explaining your tan lines on your knees.
Yeah, I noticed that just right now. Actually,
I have them as well.
Mine are sharp. I have sharp tan
you've
lines.
got like corners on mine are just my knees. So good day today. For those that didn't know,
well, for us, maybe not the guy, but
yeah. So yeah, we went to the Bears game. This was kind of like I would say almost like a premature like goodbye day.
Yeah,
because you're leaving. It's okay. I'll be all alone here in Northwest Indiana. It's fine. It's okay. I'm not mad. Anyways, no, it was a good day. It was a good day. Just me and Ben, taking a trip up to Chicago. Very eventful day, but
quite eventful.
So let's start with the beginning. So Ben, we wake up and to us what's like the butt crack of dawn. To some people that's just like a couple hours after breakfast. But
and for those listening back to this, I know we usually put stuff out on a Thursday. It was a Saturday, so 8:00 on a Saturday. No, thank you.
Not
but
good.
Continue.
So yeah, so that's that. We get out and everything. We tried Taco Bell breakfast for the first time.
That was a 10. For those who haven't had it, 10 out of 10. I forgot what he got. I got a breakfast quesadilla.
I got a breakfast burrito.
Well, yeah, I got a breakfast quesadilla, and I've had Cinnabon Delights, so I knew I liked a Cinnabon Delight.
Is it better in the morning? I didn't have one.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good. If you guys haven't had they sell them all day long. So if you guys have never had the wonderful taste of Cinnabon Delights in your mouth,
this is kids.
Do it. Yes, this is the time.
Yeah.
But that breakfast was really good.
Yeah. So yeah, it was very good. And I will say this, from this point forward, we went to our train station. And this is where we got on the train and everything. But for majority of this gap, dude, we should have filmed more. But we have a vlog that's coming out. I need to, still kind of.
We should have filmed more, especially after the game.
Yeah,
after the game.
So, dude, that would have been great. But no, anyways, so I need to edit it and everything. It's coming out very shortly. By the time you see this, it's either out or will be out shortly. Just pay attention to our Twitter and look through it. If it's up, then I'll tweet it out. However, so we go to the game. Everything's good and everything. Not so great food, surprisingly, for Chicago stuff.
It was terrible. I feel bad for you. They were out of ketchup everywhere. Every single station I saw the food. Okay. It didn't look good. They were out of everything good.
Let me just.
How are you out of ketchup?
Well, okay. Let's just say this because we didn't vlog this part. So we go downstairs and we get some food it was like right before halftime.
Yeah.
Which the lines were still long, but we go downstairs, we get some food and everything. Choices galore. We just didn't really walk around all that much.
Yeah, we should have walked around more. If we would have taken a slight left instead of a right, we would have been set.
Yeah.
But we took a wrong turn.
It's all right. Instead of that, we kind of got the essentials, I guess, but it's not Chicago essentials. So we didn't get like a Chicago dog or like, we didn't get,
And I don't want to be attacked here. Yeah. So for those wondering why we didn't get a Chicago dog in Chicago, we live in the area. I could go 15 minutes down the road and get a Chicago dog whenever I wanted a Chicago dog.
We didn't get no Italian beef.
That's why I can get Italian beef.
Like that.
So I'm just saying.
To be fair, we could also get a cheeseburger and chicken tenders down the road too.
Yes.
So what we did was, probably the worst thing that you could have done. So I guess we didn't give it justice, but they failed on the essentials, and that's a red flag.
Huge red flag.
So so your chicken tenders were small. Like
they were small. They were good, but they were small.
They were good, like just the right crispiness, everything, but they were very small. At least yours came with fries, though.
At least it came with fries.
Yeah, the pop was all right. I would give it about a 6.
Yeah, for a fountain drink, I was not impressed.
No,
I'm not.
It was weird.
It was not good.
But with mine, the cheese was melted on the burger. That was fine. The top bun was okay. The bottom bun
Crunchy.
I could have played hockey with. It was literally just like that was how hard it was. I mean, you bite into it and crumbs are like falling out of your mouth because of how crispy it was.
Not a good crispy.
It like I don't know how to explain it, but it was just like it just kind of disintegrated once I bit into it. It was very weird.
It was, and obviously I didn't know what to expect with stadium food, but like it was like a burger that was like pre-cooked and it was made.
Yeah.
But then it was just like thrown under like a warmer light, and it was like it had to have been sitting under warmer light for like 2 hours before the point we bought it.
Dude, it was so bad, and I just kind of like. Because, I mean, it was dry, too, because I didn't have any sauce to put on it. And I'm not a mustard guy either, so it's like, I'm not going to do that. But I bit into it, and it was dry because of that, and it was just a big disappointment, especially because of the money that we spent. For 2 drinks, some chicken tenders, and a burger, it was about $30.
Yeah.
And so I was just, I mean... I guess I was expecting a little bit more, and especially because people were walking.
We'll have to try that pizza next time.
Not that, but the sandwich that people were walking.
The sandwich I found it was on the second deck. I found it.
Yeah.
We were all the way on the 4th deck,
dude.
So like we didn't go all the way down to the second deck to find it, but they had like this real nice like hearty sandwich that looked real good. But all I have to say, and this should just say enough. The Taco Bell that we ate earlier that morning was better.
The best meal that we had.
Yeah, was better than that stadium food. That was disappointing, but it was all in all, it was a fun game.
Yeah, no, it was definitely fun. If you want our game notes as far as that goes and what we saw and who stood out, watch the vlog. It's going to be on our YouTube channel, and I'll tag it in the Twitter and the Facebook as well.
Worth the watch. It's only going to be like a 5-minute video. It's not a super long video. But if you got, like he said, I mean, we put our thoughts. Obviously, we're in the stadium, so you can probably hear a little like screaming from other fans, but you can hear what we say. Again, probably 5-6 minutes. Not a very long video, but absolutely worth the watch. But a fun experience.
I will say this too, because I didn't make a note of it in the vlog. Seeing Patrick Mahomes was kind of cool.
That was fun.
It was like, whoa, like that's Patrick Mahomes. Like I am able to see this guy in the flesh. And I will say he didn't make any crazy flashy plays. Like it was just a couple draw dump off plays.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to be cautious. It's just the preseason.
You don't want to do anything.
So afterwards, we get on the train that took forever to get to our station.
We were sitting and waiting like
for an hour and a half.
Hour and a half for our train. By the time we got on the train, they wouldn't let us. This is probably like a 15-cart train. They only let us use like the front 4 carts of this train.
Yes.
Which sucks. So we had to stand after standing for an hour and a half, we had to stand for another like 45 minutes.
To be fair, we stood for about an hour and like 15. And then for the last 15 minutes, we sat down because people started getting up. However, Gary was fun.
Shoot.
So, and that's a sentence that hasn't been spoken for ages. So if you ever go to Gary, Indiana, don't. Yeah, just simply put, don't. In Indiana, at least in Northwest Indiana, I hear that it is the murder capital of the world. Whether or not that's sarcasm or not is up in the air.
Yeah,
but the fact that it's even an argument should tell you enough about Gary, Indiana. So we get there, and the thing is, so they're doing maintenance on the tracks, and the maintenance, it's going to be lasting the next few years. And so as a result, they're kind of taking shuttle buses to and from Gary
stations
and whatever station you're going to. So Ben and I, we are waiting as far as, just waiting for that shuttle bus. There's, what did you say, 25 carts or whatever? right, in that train.
Yeah, there's a lot of carts on the train.
And so easily we're waiting, right, for these buses. And for some reason, approximately 25 full cars of, train cars of people. Whether you like it or not, they cannot fit on three shuttle buses.
They were nice buses.
They were nice little charter buses. I will say, I felt important.
I did.
And so, anyways, so we were waiting for a while. My phone was almost dead. I think it was at 4%. So I was kind of freaking out a little bit. But, there was an old man there that was creating one heck of a ruckus. And this poor lady that was working for the train stuff was trying to kind of keep up with him and, give him as much information as she could, but she wasn't necessarily a primary source.
No, she's a poor worker who works on the train. She has nothing to do with the buses. She she does the bare minimum on this train. She isn't a head, she's not a boss. She's not a manager. Mm-hmm. She's on the lower end of tiers of workers, mind you, on the train, not even the train station, just the train. And this dude is just giving her hell. He is just not being kind at all. He's causing an issue. He was just being a jerk. And I hate to use this word to describe old people, but he was being a geezer. He was 75 years old, and I kid you not, he literally turned and looked at us, and he said, "Back in my day." Come on, though. So he's causing an issue.
Who wears dress pants to a Bears game?
He wore whole slacks, a polo, some loafers.
Yep.
Come on. What are we doing? And
this is a Bears game. It's not a business trip.
Yeah, a preseason Bears game at that.
Yeah.
And he was being a jerk.
Anyways, so without kind of staying on him for too long, because he doesn't deserve the time on our podcast. So we get on the bus and everything. The lady that was helping him out actually was pretty cool.
Yes,
and,
she was very nice.
She was handling the situation very well, but the whole time and everything, she was very cool with us. She talked to us and everything. We told her straight up, hey, we understand you don't necessarily have all the information in the world. However, do you recommend we call somebody and give us a ride, or when do you think these buses are going to be able to get us? And she said, well, I mean, obviously there's an issue. The first bus that took off with people actually just broke down the street. So yeah, you don't want to be there. But she's like, I mean, I would recommend it, but I don't have an estimate as to where this next one's going to go. And so, us, and then as far the party next to us also kind of told her hey, you're doing great. Stay in there. Don't let this guy kind of get to you. And then once we got on the bus, once we got on the bus, she's trying to count all the seats and everything, make sure that there's the right amount of people on there, the maximum. I tried to help her out a little bit. Yeah. There's a little bit of confusion towards the end because somebody got up and got in a different seat. So I counted that seat along with the two seats that got. Yeah. It's all right. And so she ended up sitting in the aisle right next to that old man
that was being a jerk.
Yeah. And so we were just like, hey, there's a spot next to us. And she was like, nope, it's okay. It's already too late. Just kind of laughed. The people that were next to us were pretty cool people. Nothing too crazy. We didn't really talk to them too much, but when we went to our train station, she let us out and everything. We talked to the bus driver. And, she was just like, we got to give our thank yous through everything. It's been kind of like a routine ever since high school. Yeah. And so, when we step off, she's just like, did the Bears win at least? She's like, yeah. And then she's like, oh, okay, good. That's always good then. And so we go off and everything. And then that lady was there, and, we were just like, hey, he's gone now. It's all right. You can take a deep breath. And, she kind of gave us a high five and everything. And then she was like, hey, if you guys were the ones that said that you could, we could sit next to you or whatever, I appreciate it. I was just very overwhelmed. Didn't really want to take you up on that just because of the whole situation. She goes, didn't even process until a little bit later. You guys had offered me, so I do appreciate it. And then at the end of that, pretty much, we went and got back into our car. We got some Dairy Queen.
Besides the other lady when we're pulling out the parking lot.
What's that? Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there was a lady at the that was also at the train station, and she ended up getting an Uber to the train station that we shuttled from the first time that we were supposed to be at to pick up my car.
Yes.
And we rolled down the window and we're like, like the bus just got here. Like, it's a shame that you had to Uber here. And she looked at us and she's like, don't you worry.
They'll pay
for this. And we're just like, okay, lady.
All right.
But
cool. Well,
it was all in all fun day. I had lots of fun.
Yeah.
The people sitting in front of us at the game were fun. They were nice.
Oh yeah.
They were nice.
I would have liked to talk to them a little bit more because they seemed like they were a good group.
Especially the guy in front of you.
Yes.
The guy in front of you was awesome.
I will say, as creepy as this sounds and as bad as this makes me look, I kind of eavesdropped on his text messages.
Oh no,
I did, and I'm sorry for mentioning this on the podcast, but I will say that guy had 2 seats. He paid for 2 seats. He had a 200 level seat that he was hanging out with a girl, and then he was also up here with his boys because his boys were in town, and so he got 2 seats so he could hang out with both.
What a guy!
And that's why he kept bouncing back and forth. He had a suite down on the 200 level. And then he also had an upper
and he
level
forfeited it to go with his boy. Mind you, the 400 seats in Soldier Field were kind of nice, though.
Yeah.
Like, it is the smallest stadium in the league.
Yeah.
Which makes the top level seats still pretty close.
Yeah.
It was nice.
And I want to say this, too. Props to that guy. And I'm sorry if you're listening for this for whatever reason. If you guys had heard about the podcast one way or another, if you come back to this after the podcast blows up, I apologize for reading your text messages. However, props to you, man, because that was really cool for you to be able to do that and bounce back and forth. It is not a light jog to our
the
seats.
400 to the 200.
It was a pretty solid trek up the stairs. He looks, exhausted when he came back up.
And mind you, I just want to let you guys know, again, he was like right below us. So if we look down, he was there. We do not condone reading other people's text messages.
I'm embarrassed to say that I did that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. They were just, it was right there. Yeah. So don't go around reading people's text messages.
No,
that's
don't
not
do that. It's definitely an invasion of privacy. So.
Yeah, no, that absolutely.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so I think that does it. It was a good day.
Yeah. If you guys want to see our seats, watch the vlog.
Yes. I don't intend on posting any pictures. So let's just save that for the vlog.
Yeah.
As far as videos, as far as pictures and stuff like that we had taken. Oh no, I'll post a couple pictures with us with the field in the background. We can do that. But everything else is all locked up in that vlog. So go and watch that. We don't really vlog too much on that channel either. And I
feel like we should. We should more, especially for the combine.
Yeah. We'll do it for certain things.
Yes.
But I will most definitely be doing something if I go back on Lucas Oil in November because that was very cool. Without further ado, though, that does it for that segment, at least talking about our experiences. But we got some schedules to predict.
Yes, we do.
It's back to business here at the Pigskin Project. And without further ado, the first one that we are going to be covering is the Rams, the LA Rams, the defending Super Bowl champion Rams. I'm not going to say it, but yeah.
Their week 1 game, just off the bat, is a fantastic game. It's the Bills versus Rams.
Ooh.
That is going to be a tough
Thursday
game to pick.
Night football.
Yeah. That's
September 8th. 3 days before my birthday and 3 days before Sunday, which means Thursday. But we're very tired, guys. Just, stay with us. Anyways, Ben, why don't you go ahead and read me, or not read me, but more so give me your predictions.
Yes. So this opening one is tough. I've been high in the Bills, so I think I have to go with the Rams losing this week 1 matchup.
Okay.
But so they open up week 1 and for those wondering why I'm on my phone, I have the schedule pulled up.
Yeah, that's why we're looking at it. I'm looking at it as well.
But so I think they lose week 1 to the Bills.
Okay.
But then I think they have a pretty easy schedule. I think they win against the Falcons in week 2.
Okay.
I think they win against the Cardinals in week 3. If you guys want to hear my thoughts about the Cardinals, go and listen to the last episode. I'm not a real big fan of them.
Mm-mm.
I think this is going to be tough because I think Trey Lance is finally going to be settled in. Come week 4, but I think they beat the 49ers in week 4. I think they beat the Cowboys in week 5, Panthers in week 6. I'll have them losing to the 49ers.
Okay. Starting off 6-0 though.
No, starting off 5-2.
5-2. Wait, who did you have losing again?
I have them losing.
Oh, the Rams. Yes. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah. Started. Yeah. And then I have them losing to the Niners in week 7. So they're starting off 5-2 though.
Okay.
That's a nice little start for them. Then I have them losing to the Buccaneers. That's a Tom Brady revenge match from the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's tough. But then they get right back on their horse and then continue. I think they beat the Cardinals a second time. I think they beat the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
This is also going to be a really interesting matchup. They play the Chiefs on November 27th.
Okay.
That'll be tough.
In Kansas City too.
In Kansas City. So due to that being in Kansas City, I'm going to have Kansas City winning that. But then I have them beating the Seahawks, the Raiders, the Packers, the Broncos. But then I have them losing the last 2 games to the Chargers. I just think the Chargers are going to edge them out there. And then I have them losing to the Seahawks just because I think they're going to have their playoff spot locked up. So I have them losing 5 games, so I have them going 12-5.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start then. So mine, I have them beating the Bills, beating the Falcons, beating the Cardinals.
Beating the Bills, you said?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. It's going to be a strong start, but it's going to be a close game. Good showing from both quarterbacks, I will say. They're going to lose to the 49ers. They're going to beat the Cowboys. They're going to beat the Panthers. They're going to beat the 49ers, and then they're going to lose against the Bucks. They're going to lose against the Cardinals. Let's see. They're going to win against the Saints. Let's see. What's that one? I forgot how many wins that is. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, and usually we have this pulled up on our preset, but like we said, it's been a pretty busy day for us.
6 wins. Let's see. So I'm on the Saints now. So 7 wins. They're going to lose against the Chiefs. They're going to beat the Seahawks. So 8 wins. They're going to lose against the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
They should win that game, but they're going to lose against the Raiders. They're going to lose against the Broncos. They're going to lose against the Chargers. I skipped over the Packers. They're going to lose that game.
Wow, you have them.
I have them on a slippery slope, and then they're going to beat the Seahawks to finish. I believe that's only 9 games.
Yeah.
So 9 and 8 on the year. If not, you can give them one of those iffy games. Maybe beat the Raiders and give them 10 and 7 on the year. But this is crazy to hear from a Bears fan. I am more than sold on the idea of Aaron Rodgers beating Matthew Stafford in Green Bay on December 17th, because that is Green Bay weather. That is cold weather. You bring an LA team over there and everything. I understand they're going to be strong. However, I don't think that this is going to be a good year for the Rams. I think they're definitely going to have some kind of championship hangover.
Okay.
Despite the strong team. So yeah, call it 9 and 8 or 10 and 7 for me, but 12 and 5 for Ben for sure.
Yes.
And then next up, we got the Cardinals schedule.
I hope Cardinals fans are not listening to this. They're not going to be too happy. I already said in past episode, I don't want to give them way too much thoughts. If you guys want to hear my Cardinals thoughts, please listen to the last episode. But I really think Cliff Kingsbury is going to be fired at the end of the season. But they open up week 1 against the Chiefs. That's a loss. Yep. Then they play the Raiders. That's a loss. Then they play the Rams. That's a loss. So they open up 0-3.
Okay.
They finally get their first victory against the Panthers here. But then they play the Eagles. Loss.
Confidence in your own team.
Yes.
Love it.
Then I think they go on a nice little 2-game win streak. I think they beat the Seahawks and the Saints. So now they have 3 wins on the season. Congratulations. But then I think they lose to the Vikings, beat the Seahawks again. I just don't think they're going to be a good team this year. They quite concern me.
Oh, here we go. Here's new. Axis Myth X. Hey, I'm new here, but I wanted to ask about a trade I was proposed. All right, give me just a second. I'll pull that up. Ben, you can go ahead and finish.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish this. Shoot that trade.
Tell your friends too.
Oh yeah, tell your friends about it. But yeah, shoot that trade in the comments.
Yeah, I think it's already in there. But we will look at that just shortly. Let's finish these schedules.
But then I have them beating the Seahawks, so now they have 4 wins.
Okay.
But then this is where I really think that I think after this next 4-game stretch, Cliff is fired.
Okay.
But I think they lose to the Rams, the 49ers, the Patriots, and the Broncos, and the Buccaneers.
Wow.
So they just went on a 6-game lose streak. Cliff is fired.
This is not good.
He's not lasting, not after that. But then they close out the season with the Falcons. Yay, they got their 5th win of the season. And just because you got to give some, you got to give a team props. A blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Yeah.
While them beating the Niners, I'm not confident that they will do that.
Yeah.
We'll chalk that up to the Niners having a playoff spot lock.
Yeah.
So that's a 6-win season for him. Cliff is gone.
Here's what I'll do. Before I get to your trade proposal, let me kind of breeze through mine really quick. It's going to be quick, and then we'll start our fantasy football segment just to kick it off.
Oh, yeah.
So, week 1 against the Chiefs, the Cardinals are losing that game. They'll lose against the Raiders week 2 and the Rams week 3, but they'll beat the Panthers. They'll lose against the Eagles. They'll beat the Seahawks. They'll beat the Saints. They'll beat the Vikings. They'll beat the Seahawks again. And then just because they're on a hot streak, they'll beat the Rams, as I said last time. They're going to lose against the 49ers. They're going to lose against the Chargers. They're going to beat the Patriots. They're going to lose against the Broncos, Buccaneers. They'll beat the Falcons and then beat the 49ers again for another 9-8 season, which is not terrible.
Much higher than I am.
Yes. It's not because of that, though. It's because they're on a hot streak and because of that momentum. Plus, D-Hop's coming in halfway through there. So,
yeah.
Anyways, let's go ahead and look at this trade proposal. We're going to go ahead. It says, I receive Justin Herbert, Damian Harris, and a 5th-round pick, and he receives Matthew Stafford, Joe Mixon, and a 2nd. Should I accept?
No, I'm not a fan of that. I think you upgraded quarterback, which is nice. I think you have Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert has obviously really good weapons to throw to. But I think Joe Mixon's a better back. Yeah. I don't really think it's close. I think Joe Mixon's by far the better back. And you're giving up the better pick.
Here's what I would say. Because Damian Harris,
I think, can go and have a good season being the lead back there with the Patriots.
He's not Joe Mixon.
But he's not Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon's better, and you're giving up a way higher pick.
I will not say that this trade is very far off, though. Yeah. I wouldn't say that this needs work. If you were to negotiate, here's what I would say from your point of view. You are upgrading I would say you're upgrading at quarterback, like Ben said. Mm-hmm. You're downgrading tremendously at the running back position. There's no reason you should be giving up a 2nd-round pick and one of the top running backs. You should give up those guys. You should give up Stafford and Mixon. I'm okay with that, as long as you can get a 2nd-round pick out of that and trade away maybe a 5th or 6th-round pick. But even then, a 5th-round pick is still high in a fantasy draft.
I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't think Stafford's that far off from Herbert in the first place. I do think Herbert's a better quarterback, but I don't think Stafford's that far off. I mean, let's look at Stafford's weapons. He has a fine run game. Cam Akers is finally back and he's going to be healthy. And then he has Cooper Kupp. I mean, Cooper Kupp just put up one of the best 2nd best receiving season ever in the history of football.
Yeah.
And he has Allen Robinson. You know a thing or two about Allen Robinson.
Yes.
Tyler Higbee's been a solid producer at tight end. I really don't think Stafford's that far off. I do think Herbert's the better quarterback. I don't think Stafford's that far off. And in that gap between Mixon and Damian Harris, I think is definitely bigger than what that gap is between Herbert and Stafford.
I would need to look at the other team.
Yes, I would need to look. And I like to see what your team is looking like too.
But I definitely think that there's this is slight progress on a potential deal.
Yes.
But like I said, I mean, maybe try and land a better running back. Don't try and downgrade so much at running back because you don't necessarily need to. Joe Mixon is a first-round pick, easily.
Yeah, I'm picking Joe Mixon in the top 10 picks of advantage.
For sure. And the thing is, I mean, he's got an upgraded offensive line this year, too. I mean, I could talk you into Joe Mixon right now. But I could also talk you up on Justin Herbert as well. He's got a great offense. And potentially, this is crazy for me to say, but I think that he's a potential MVP candidate this year.
No, I don't think that's crazy.
So for that reason, I would say maybe not, but you don't need to be trading away a second round pick and Joe Mixon and one of the best quarterbacks available right now. So if you have any other questions, please tell your friends. Feel free to shoot them in the chat or whatever. We'll cover them as we go on. And since you're new here, follow us wherever podcasts are available, as well as Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc.
And as far as we usually don't do recordings on Saturday. We usually record Thursday nights.
Yes.
We postponed it because we saw the Bears game.
But without getting too personal for those that are listening outside of YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, thank you for tuning in and giving us a little bit of a trade request. I love when people chime in. It's great.
Trade requests are awesome. Comments in general.
Yeah. But anyways, all right. So earlier, another question. Should I do Kareem Hunt instead of Damian Harris? Kareem Hunt is a good bench piece, but he is by no means a reliable starter, in my opinion. Especially because he wants to trade, and that's just an iffy.
I think no matter where Kareem Hunt goes, he'll be able to produce.
Yeah.
Unless you're getting pretty much Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, or Derrick Henry in return,
don't trade away.
Or Alvin Kamara. I could be talked into Alvin Kamara. I really wouldn't trade away Joe Mixon unless you get a better offer, and you giving away the better pick and the better player really concerns me. I
would say take Joe the Mixon, quarterbacks out.
Joe Mixon has been a top 5 producing back, and now we've added an upgraded offensive line to that.
Yeah,
and I mean Joe Burrow's always been a threat throwing, but now defenses can't stack the box. Defenses can't stack to play the run.
Here's what I would say. Take the 5th, take a 1st, give him a 4th.
Yeah.
And then
if you can, but
if you can talk him into giving a 1st round pick and then a 5th round pick, and then also getting get Herbert, get Damian Harris, get a 1st round pick, get a 5th round pick, and then trade away Stafford, Mixon, and a 4th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's
I could
fair.
get behind that. Maybe I could get behind that,
depending on how the teams look. This is just blindly reacting to it, but I would say because you're getting a 1st round talent in exchange for Joe Mixon.
Yes.
You're getting an upgraded quarterback.
Yes,
you're getting it's a downgrade, but it's not it's significant, but it's not significant enough to the point where you can't even start this guy. In Damian Harris. You're winning that trade, plus you're getting a 5th round pick with that 1st round pick. You're getting 4 players for 3.
Yes. I again, as I said before, I'm stingy when it comes to Joe Mixon. I think Joe Mixon is going to produce real well this season, unless you're getting a really good offer like he proposed.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't make the trade, and it kind of sounds like this guy's trying to fleece you.
Yes. Yeah.
I would stay away at least from making that trade until until he wants to give you a better offer there.
But all right, so
other fantasy.
Yes, other fantasy segment. Ben made a mock draft from my point of view. I picked ninth in our draft.
Oh, it's from your point of view.
Well, did you
shoot? I made it from my point of view.
Okay, well, I'll just grade your draft anyway.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead.
So this is my draft. Again, for those outside listeners.
Well, go ahead. We'll do our draft segment and then we'll answer the question.
Okay. Actually, I really want to answer this question right now.
That. I got to use the bathroom really quick.
Yeah. So as far as this, in your PPR league, I'm assuming it's a snake draft. If it's a snake draft, we've actually, me and Ryan have had conversation about this off air. As far as a snake draft, if that's what I'm assuming this is, I would much rather have the 10th pick because it allows you to pick 10th and 11th. So you can get 2 back-to-back, like pretty good, solid league winning players there versus pick 10 or pick 5 and 16. That what you're getting at 16 would concern me a little bit more. I'm always a fan of picking back-to-back. As people in my league know, I'm first or worse. That's kind of my strategy. I mean, I have 3-peated in my league. I've won back-to-back champions. But this season didn't treat me too well. But I purposely, I got worse for a reason. I like to pick back-to-back. And picking 10th overall allows you to pick in those back-to-back spots. And I think picking in back-to-back spots by far and outweighs picking in the middle of a round. While you do have to wait to 20 picks to make your next pick, I think being able to pick back-to-back is significantly more worth it. And we actually had this discussion in our fantasy league this past year, talking about adding people in. Those back-to-back picks, absolutely worth it. I would pick 10th. It was up to me. And I think there can be some really, really solid players at that 10th overall pick. I think Joe Mixon is an option there. I would always go running back. I build my team around running backs, and I think you're probably going to have a pretty solid choice of running backs there at 10. But I would go running back, wide receiver if I pick 10. Yep. I would pick 10. And I know Ryan picks 9th in our league, and he really wasn't happy when people were going to be added to our league at the end of the draft because he likes to pick pretty close. So I know he is of that same mindset as well. But I made a draft. I don't know for those. Let's see this. 1 quarterback, 2 wide, 1 flex. Should I change my draft strategy with the extra wide receiver slot? The extra wide receiver, I think backs win leagues way more often than what wide receivers do. I'm interested to see how many bench spots you have there. I think 2 high-end backs are better than 2 high-end wide receivers. So I would pick the 2 high-end backs. But when it comes down later in the rosters, those later picks, I would obviously stack up a little bit more wide receiver. But it really all just depends on how that board falls.
Let me add into because
yes.
You said I'm usually drafting running back, but we added that extra wide receiver slot. Let me just say, draft the running backs
10 bench spots
because there is so much potential for great wide receivers in later rounds.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially after this past draft, too.
Yes.
Look into the rookie class and do as much homework as you can on them. Drake London's going to have a great year. I think
George Pickens
is going to be a great grab. Chris Olave, I think, is a dark horse. And then I also think for a really late round, so literally if you could pick your defense and your kicker first for just a little bit of a fantasy sleeper, what I would say is Alec Pierce. Yes.
That you're taking a little shot in the dark. again, I think, like he said, I think the drop off between the top end talent with running back versus everyone else is a significantly bigger drop off than the top wide receivers and everyone else. I would still go with running back, but obviously don't force anything. If your board falls to the way that you have some really good wide receivers and there's that drop off, take those wide receivers. You don't want to force a running back pick if you if you don't have to. If there's a good running back, take it. If there's not, take the best player available. But yeah, I'm always been heavy around the running back. That's how I three-peated in my league.
Okay. I'm still new to it, by the way, and I killed him. So
I three-peated in my league. I've always done a running back draft strategy. I'm running back heavy. That's where I'm at. But yeah, with that, with those 7 bench spots,
what running back do I get at 10 and 11? I think Nick Chubb is going to be available.
Yeah, Nick Chubb will probably be available. People kind of outthink Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara scares me a little bit at 10.
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones would be a very nice pick. I don't think Austin Eckler, if he's there, I'm wondering if Austin Eckler's there.
Austin Eckler would be a great grab at 10 or 11.
If you could get honestly,
I would get Eckler
if I'm at
first.
10 and 11, I'd get Eckler first. But I'm just being honest here. If I'm picking at 10 and 11,
congrats on winning your league, by the way.
Yes. If I'm picking 10 and 11 and Chubb and Eckler's there, I'm pulling the trigger on both Chubb and Eckler. Those two guys have the potential to be a league-winning player, and to have both of them on your roster would be absolutely insane. But I don't think you could go wrong with, like you said, Jones, Eckler, Chubb.
Kamara's early, but
Kamara's a little early, but
maybe even Najee Harris if he's available.
Najee Harris, if that's your style. I'm a Najee Harris guy. I know he's not as much of a Najee Harris guy, but yeah, Eckler for sure. If you get to 10 and Eckler's still on the board, I'd be running up to the podium
for sure.
But yeah, so Eckler, Chubb, Najee Harris, Aaron Jones, any 4 of those guys.
Here's what I'll say. With all the questions, and believe me, we really do appreciate it. This is this is the most activity that we have seen in our chat before. What I would like to do, because we're already over an hour in the show, is let's get past our other segments, and then we'll go back to any other questions that we have towards the end with the time that we have left. We have our fantasy mock draft that you are going to get into. We have our Weddle, and then we also have Gridiron Goofs. And so I would say an estimated 20 minutes before we're able to talk about the rest of it. But let's go ahead and get into this mock draft.
Yes.
So, Ben, you drafted from your point of view, as stated before.
Yes. I picked number 1, as I said, first or worst.
Yeah.
That's a draft strategy.
Yes.
If you're not drafting first or worst, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
But so the clear number 1 pick, first overall, is Jonathan Taylor.
A+ grade, yeah.
Yeah, you can make an argument, Derrick Henry. I like the Colts offensive line better.
Yes.
And I like the Colts passing game better, which in turn takes a little more pressure off of Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
So Jonathan Taylor, number 1.
Okay.
I didn't get another pick until 20 because it's a snake draft. Like I said, I like to go running back, but that just wasn't really an option for me. I did pick running back the very next pick.
Okay.
I picked Mike Evans with the 20th pick.
I'll give you an A- on that one.
Okay.
That's pretty good value at number 20.
My 21st pick, I don't think you're going to be as big of a fan on. I drafted him last year. I was high out of him coming out of college. Last year was his rookie season. I think he's going to – once he took over the lead role, he popped off, and now he really is the lead back. I picked Javonte Williams. I like Javonte Williams. I think getting Javonte Williams at 22 or 21 is not bad at all. I'm a fan of him.
B+ grade.
Okay. And like I said, people, you do have to think about who the quarterback is. That passing game is going to be nasty, which will take off pressure from Javonte Williams.
Yeah.
But then I didn't pick again until the 41st pick, which I'm wildly surprised this player was still here, the 41st pick, or the 41st pick. Terry McLaurin. I had no clue how he was there at 41st.
Ooh, you have Mike Evans and Terry McLaurin?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say A+ for that value, yeah.
Yes. Then I drafted Elijah Mitchell. The 49ers have a good offensive line. I needed a running back. He was the best available. So I picked him, and he played pretty well last year. I wish I would have had a better running back at this point.
I was going to say.
But Elijah Mitchell, I wouldn't be surprised if he rushed for 1,000 yards.
I'll give you a B- on that.
That's fair. For those who have been here, I've kind of wanted a certain quarterback on my fantasy team. Now that it's getting close to fantasy, I really don't feel like exposing who that is. If you know who it is, awesome. If you don't, go back and listen to other episodes. But it's hard to not give away who it is because we're fantasy, we podcast about football. Yeah. But we also are in our own fantasy league, so we don't want to give away too much. But this isn't the guy. But I thought this guy was absolutely worth it. In the 6th round, I got Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Ironically.
Yeah. A+. Yeah.
Yes. And then me and you've had this conversation. I think this guy's either going to be the best or second best tight end in all of fantasy football. I got Mark Andrews in the 7th round, actually.
Wow. A+.
Yeah. No, I'm surprised. And for those who don't know, we use this website. It's called RotoWire, and they do like fantasy mock drafts where you put your position and then you pick your position, and everyone else is computer generated.
Yeah.
And then from here on out, it's pretty much just who you want to bet on. And that's just pretty much what fantasy is. This guy killed it last year. I'm super excited to see his development. I got him on Ross A. Brown.
B+.
Oh yeah. And then back to back, this guy just bit me in the butt last year. Then I had the opportunity to trade for him again. Didn't take it. Should have taken it. Brandon Ayuk. I drafted him last year, cut him because he sucked, and then he decided to be good again and didn't make the trade for him.
C-.
So Brandon Ayuk at 9 is going to be an awesome pick. I completely disagree with you.
I'm not a fan.
And then right here we have back-to-back rookies. Because again, like we said, you need to take your shots.
Yes.
I got Kenneth Walker. He's the lead bell cow back in that system. They're not going to pass as well as they probably would like with their 2 quarterbacks, which means they're going to lean on their running back more. And Pete Carroll actually came out today and was talking about how he was surprised with how well Kenneth Walker has actually done.
I'm going to give you a C+.
Wow. Okay.
Because here's the thing. The offensive line is garbage.
Yeah.
And with the receiving core of DK and Tyler Lockett, I disagree with you. I think they're going to be passing a lot more than what people think. But he can be a pretty decent, high upside bench spot. So that's why I'm giving you C+ and not C- or anything.
I loved this pick this late in the draft. He would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in the 12th round. At George Pickens.
Wow.
Big fan of George Pickens this late in the draft. As those who are listening to the podcast, I was a big George Pickens fan throughout the
bigger Drake London fan, but
Yeah, well, of course. But I was a big George Pickens fan. I really picked up on him probably last month in the draft process.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I even told Ryan the Bears should have drafted him. They didn't. But he's really been showed out at training camp. He showed out in his preseason game.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to continue to show out. Ironically enough, I picked Kareem Hunt. I think he's a good backup spot. I think he's a good filler. If he needs to start 1 or 2 games, I think you're safe. He's not going to lose you.
He's not going to make or break a trade, though.
No. I needed to back up tight end. We only won a 1-man tight end slot, but I do like to have that backup slot.
Yeah.
I got Mike Gesicki. Solid pick. Again,
Solid. I'm going to give you a C on that one.
As a backup tight end, come on. Mike Gesicki in the 15th round.
Dude, no, I'll even give you a C- or a D+ because I don't believe in backup tight ends. They're always available on the waiver wire. You can always pick one up.
I disagree with you. I think you take a backup tight end when you can because just as much as there's a drop-off at running back, the top 10 to 12 tight ends in the league, and then there's everyone else.
Okay.
Says the guy who wants to draft Cole Kmet. Anyways,
that's been a joke, but I mean, okay.
Matt Stafford, a really good backup quarterback. Surprised I got him with this late of a pick.
Yeah.
Got the best kicker, I think, in all of football. Shooter, Evan McPherson himself.
Yeah, A+.
And then I had the last pick on defense. So I took who I thought was the best.
Best available.
Best available. I took Colts.
I'm going to give you a B.
So I think their
B for bad. I'm just kidding.
I think their defensive line improved, and I think people, for some reason, forget Stephon Gilmore is their starting outside quarterback.
Yeah.
Guy won Defensive Player of the Year 3 years ago. Has been very, very well for him. Real quick, out in a hole. What are you grading that draft? B. I think you let your draft
89%.
I think you let your draft philosophy affect your draft process too much. Besides the point, Weddle time, baby.
Me?
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't used it yet. Anyways,
no. I'm saying your philosophy. Pooping on my Mike Gesicki pick. When Mike Gesicki goes off for 20 points, and your backup tight end that you got off the waiver wire goes for 3, I'll be laughing. Anyways.
We'll see who wins this year. I promise you I'll have that belt in my room.
Right, let's go.
Anyways, Weddle.
Cap.
He doesn't want the smoke, I promise you guys. We're gonna be sharing our screen, playing a little bit, and you wanna do the typing today?
No, it actually hurts leaning forward.
Okay.
For those who don't know, this is probably TMI on the podcast. I'm suffering from a kidney issue right now. So yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean, oh, this is tough. Okay, cool. Scoot in. We're gonna be doing this. Anyways, this is difficult. How are we gonna do this? Okay, that works.
Yes.
All right. So Weddle, you won last time, I believe. So I think.
Yeah. I'll take the first pick. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
4 or 5 for whoever's keeping count. I don't really know who it is. AJ Brown.
Oh.
Okay.
All right. So it's a wide receiver in the AFC.
He's older and tall. In the AFC.
Give me, because we take this seriously here.
And this again, we
Give me
explain it in the
Devontae
podcast. This we help each other. 29 on the spot.
Low jersey number.
Yeah.
So for those that are listening, he is in the AFC. He's a wide receiver. He is taller than 6'1". His age is 29, and his number is less than 11.
I'm trying to think of tall,
way less than 11.
A little bit older receivers. The first one that comes to mind is Mike Evans, but
NFC.
Yeah,
I mean, we could punch it in.
No, that's NFC. My lord, I can't. I'm blanking on anything right here. Amari Cooper, but I think Amari Cooper's too short.
He is same height, a little bit younger, but okay. So this wide receiver wears number 1. Who are you?
It has to be in the East or South.
Devontae Parker?
Height, I think, checks out, but does he wear number 1? Okay.
Yeah.
I remember
strong.
I remember him with the Dolphins wearing number 11. So the one threw me off.
Anyways, all right. So you want first or last pick?
Yeah, I'll take first pick. Why not?
All right. Who do you want?
Yeah, we'll take AJ Brown to start this bad boy off. Okay.
NFC, offensive. He's taller than 6'1", older than 25, and his jersey number is way up. So I'm thinking offensive lineman.
Yes.
Offensive
lineman in the NFC.
Give me David Bakhtiari. Okay, so older than 30. His jersey number is smaller than 69.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the NFC North. but he's not an offensive. He's not an offensive tackle.
If this isn't going to be correct, but to help limit divisions, we will go with Shaq Mason. I know it's not Shaq Mason because it's already been Shaq Mason before.
All right.
Oh, you're kidding.
So it's going to be in the NFC West.
I'm trying to think what that NFC West is.
I'm thinking maybe running back. No,
it
can't be running back.
It
I'm thinking maybe quarterback.
It could be running back. It could totally be running back. Because he's in between. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Let's see.
The running backs usually do not make it past 30. That's the scary thing.
If he's older, I'm going with Tom Brady.
It can't be. Look.
Yeah.
So it's a running back or center. Oh, shoot. This isn't right. And I know it's not going to be right, but we'll go with Derrick Henry.
So it's not a running back.
Why did I? So it's a center.
Tight end.
Oh my goodness. No, but what tight end number is?
Kelce is.
Oh my gosh.
No, not Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce is 87.
Shh,
Damn.
We're not helping each
Oh
other.
my God.
George, how old is George Kittle? I'm going George Kittle just because I said it, and I don't want you to take it from me.
I don't think the number works.
Oh, NFC West though for sure. Yeah, it doesn't. But he's not a tight end either.
So he's a center.
I mean, who's a center?
This is where it gets tough.
I do not have any idea. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, we have 2 picks each.
Just for team wise, we know it's a center. We're just to try to narrow down the team a little bit here. We're just picking we're gosh dang it. Okay. We'll just to narrow teams. We'll go with Mike Williams. We'll see if he. No. I don't know why I said Mike Williams. That's not the correct division. DK Metcalf.
I mean, it was already.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to figure out the team.
Oh, I see.
So we know that who else is in the division? Arizona.
The Rams and Arizona.
Rams. Yes.
Ooh, what's his name?
You better get it this guess, because if it's not this guess, then I get my Google search. And I will be able to Google search the correct team. So I hope you get it this guess.
I know exactly the guy. I just can't think of his name.
What team?
Rams. Why did I do that? I just helped you out.
I don't know. Well, it doesn't matter what it is, because if it's the Rams, then I get my Google search, and if it's not, I get my Google search for the other team.
I don't know his name.
Gotta pick, my boy.
I don't want to pick.
I'm not accepting your trade offer. I don't have to pick. I guess picking number 1 overall this time paid off. Hopefully, maybe. I don't want to talk too soon.
I don't know this guy's name. I don't know it. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'll just waste the pick. We'll go with Ryan Jensen just to. So he is a center. He's in the West. So who are you using your Google search on?
Well, see, and now this is where it gets poopy for me, you dickhead. Because now I get a 50-50 chance. And this is what happened the first time with freaking Alex Highsmith.
Well, it's already zeroed out either way.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's still going to be 540 at the end of the day. Because we don't get a win with the Google search. We already zeroed.
Oh, we don't get a win with the Google search.
Yeah.
You got the win for Alex Highsmith.
Do we?
Okay, I mean, I'm okay with not doing the win.
Who are you? Okay, well, I mean, obviously, it's not going to be fair for me to not do it if you get it. So, like, we'll count it. Who are you using your Google search on?
I'm not. No, we're taking this as a wash.
Who are you? No,
I
already counted it as a win.
No, you just said wash. We're taking it as a wash.
I counted my last one as a win, so I'm not going to take away a potential win for you.
Oh, come on. No, I'm telling
What's his name?
If we both agreed on it.
What's his name?
And no, I just looked up the Cardinals, and I'm willing to bet you it's going to be the freaking Rams. So I'm saying no. I know for a fact it's not. Okay, do Rodney Hudson. I can't believe I forgot about this guy too. So, well, now it's 5-5 because you insisted on it counting as a point.
I told you that it would only be fair if I counted my last one as a point with me Googling.
As soon as I looked him up,
I know it's still Rodney Hudson.
Yeah, as soon as I looked him up, I'm like, oh, Rodney Hudson. Forgot he existed.
Buddy. You tied it up.
Yeah, wait. Woo.
Gridiron Goofs.
I think we need to do a soda one at some point too.
We will for sure.
I feel like we should do soda one next episode. But anyways, yes.
Childhood cartoon draft. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take the mic off the stand.
Now we're gonna relax a little bit.
Yeah, this is our relaxing point, and then we get to talk more comments.
So you just commented the one, yeah.
Yeah. For the two people that actually joined in, thank you for doing that because that was cool to talk with people. We don't get to do that much, so if you're listening here, feel free to chime in when we do stream and watch out for announcements on our stream for potential future streams or Twitter for potential future streams. I already made the banner and everything. I can take my phone and type the drafts. So, who had the last pick?
What was the last draft? It was 10 days ago, not 7, so that's where it gets tough.
The last draft
was it Chips?
Was fictional sports player draft where I picked Ricky Bobby or Paul Crew first.
Paul Crew first.
So yeah, you get first.
Absolutely unbelievable.
First pick for childhood cartoon.
Are we doing cartoons or shows?
Both.
Because it's different.
Well, shows being what? So
shows
are they animated?
No.
These are animated shows.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so that's the line because I could have done like
they have to be animated or something. No, they have to be animated. See, but I will be binge watching Drake and Josh.
Absolutely.
I think it's on Paramount, but I'm not sure. We're not sponsored.
No, not sponsored
yet.
Hopefully. This is the most unprepared I've been for any gridiron goof. Shoot. This is tough. Because I put more thought into gridiron goofs than actually.
I mean, if you want to trade me your first round pick, then I'll just make my pick.
That's not happening. Are we doing our childhood or any childhood cartoons?
Ours.
So like Tom and Jerry wouldn't work.
Tom and Jerry works.
Well, I wouldn't consider that ours. I'm just wondering. I'm not picking Tom and Jerry, but
I watched Tom and Jerry all the time as a kid, but that's not my.
Well,
first
that's great.
pick.
Well, I'm picking SpongeBob, so
okay, that's a good one.
Well, SpongeBob is like just iconic, so.
I'm going to go ahead and pick Pokemon.
That's fair. I probably
would have
forgotten about Pokemon.
Honestly. Pokemon was great to see, and like I think it came on every 6:30 in the morning here. So
I didn't live here, so I couldn't tell you.
Is Arizona time different?
Yes.
How different?
Depending on the time, 2 or 3 hours.
Is it Pacific time over there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mountain time. Depending on the time, 2 or 3 hours different because Arizona doesn't believe in daylight savings. So they don't. We don't participate where we didn't participate in daylight savings. Okay. So 2 or 3 hour difference between the two of them. Actually,
who do you have next?
Okay, this is probably going to be bold with the number 2 pick, but I loved this show. We're doing a Phineas and Ferb here.
Okay.
Oh, I know where I'm going with my next pick too. I know where I'm going.
And keep in mind, these are only shows.
Yeah.
So it's not movies, anything like that.
Oh yeah. I'm so mad at myself that I forgot this show existed.
I don't want you to take it, so I'm taking regular show.
That's fair. I wasn't even taking regular show.
Okay.
I'm picking an icon, a show that's been rebooted like 4 times, that got made into a live action movie. And it definitely shouldn't have. It should have just been left at a cartoon. And it's been going on from like the 80s all the way up to now in like 10 different forms. Scooby-Doo.
Oh.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Where are you?
Solid.
That's a phenomenal choice.
It is. In the 3rd round too. Good.
That's what I'm saying. Bless you.
Excuse me. Thank you. So
I know where I'm going with next too, if you don't.
Dude, SpongeBob was a good pick. I'll be honest.
Thank
that was
you.
a good one. I'll give you props. Because now I'm trying to think of childhood TV shows that I like always went home and watched. And the only one that comes to mind right now is The Amazing World of Gumball.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah. But I don't know if I want to take that one or not.
Yeah.
We can put it as an honorable mention. You're using Google right now.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually using Safari.
Okay. All right. So
there's one clear and obvious one that I am just absolutely forgetting that I will take if you don't take it right now.
Oh, dude. I really don't know. I mean,
unless you want to give it to me.
I mean, dude, this is so hard just because it's like,
come on. We're missing a real obvious one here, bud.
Oh, dude. I mean, the ones that I'm coming to mind, they're just not like classic.
Oh my God, this
cartoons.
is a classic. Yes, there is.
I'm saying the one that's coming to mind isn't.
Oh, okay.
So like,
pick the ones coming to mind, my boy.
I'll trade you this pick for the next 2.
No.
Okay.
I turned down that trade. It's not worth it. Giving up this show.
Give me Gravity Falls.
Okay, well, you can do Gravity Falls. I'm very glad I didn't give up this. The Simpsons. I don't know how I got The Simpsons.
See, the thing is,
round. That's unbelievable. I don't know how I got it.
I was literally going to say The Simpsons, but I was just like, I don't know if that counts as like a childhood show.
Absolutely. Absolutely The Simpsons.
Well, I guess I'll give it to you on a technicality because I would totally take that. And
I would always say,
in the Matthews household, that is a staple. Like, literally.
I would say in like 80% of the households in America, that's a staple. It's a phenomenal show. The fact that I got in the 4th round just has me ecstatic. I think I'm really doing a phenomenal job in this draft. I'm glad I don't pull a Rams and say F them picks. This is phenomenal. Dude. There's a lot of shows I could go with here. Just spitballing here. I'm not going with this. This would be an honorable mention. Steven Universe was a good show.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
It was trash.
Oh, no,
it was so bad.
It was a very good show. Backyard Barnyard, I think is what it was called. Is that what it was? The cows?
Yeah.
That was a good show.
Decent.
But a lot of my childhood, I'll say it was like an iCarly, a Drake and Josh, Sweet Life on Deck, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
It was a lot of live action.
There's a lot of live action stuff for me. So that's why I was asking for the clarification.
Jimmy Neutron in the 4th.
Okay. Wow. Now I'm stuck with 2 tough decisions because I feel like you picked the wrong show of that universe. I think Fairly Odd Parents is better than Jimmy Neutron.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll go with Fairly Odd Parents. Forgot about that show. I was gonna pick Adventure Time. I loved Adventure Time. That show's lore is absolutely crazy.
It is if you rewatch it.
If you rewatch it and you go back through and like it gets. That's one of those shows that grows with you. You start watching that as a kid, and it's just one of those cartoons. But as you got older, that show got more serious, and it kind of grew with that generation of people. So it sticks with me really well. I loved that show, and I went back through and I rewatched it. And for those who watched it as kids, I would go back through and rewatch it. It was really, really good.
Teen Titans at the end of it.
Wow, that was a good pick. Forgot about that show. Teen Titans, not the stupid.
Teen Titans Go was decent too, so
Teen
I'll
Titans
group
Go
it
was
in there.
bad. No, Teen Titans.
Honorable mention Ben 10.
Oh yeah.
So
Talking to a Ben.
Yeah, of course. I was surprised that it wasn't picked just for that reason. Let me go ahead. Let's clear the banner of Gridiron Goofs.
Do we recap the drafts here or no?
No, because you smoked me. They could just go back and listen to it. I'm gonna disrespect your draft because I'm mad about the results. So we got another question. Fade Swift. Eckler goes around 4 for fantasy. We said that we would come back to the questions. And this is the last
round
one.
4.
Yeah, get Swift for sure because that was one of those. But you need Austin Eckler if he's falling. You need to jump on him.
If Eckler's in round 4, if Eckler's at 10, I would draft him. So Eckler at round 4 is a steal.
What are you doing in round 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm taking him 1, 2, and 3. I think the chances of Eckler being in round 4 is significantly lower than DeAndre Swift.
Get DeAndre Swift, but get Eckler first.
That's Eckler first. Yes.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It was pretty cut and dry.
In terms of fantasy, real quick, I would love to hear your thoughts on Kyle Pitts. Because Kyle, I'm so tossed up in the air. I loved him. I think he had a phenomenal season. And honestly, I think he's the number 2 tight end in this entire thing, based off of George Kittle's injury history and Travis Kelce's injury history.
Yeah. I'm not touching him.
The only thing that scares me is the 1 touchdown.
Yeah, that's the only thing, and it's a pretty big thing too. My thing is he can get a solid chunk of yards. That's fine. He's already proven that. He needs some touchdowns. That's the only thing, and for that reason, I mean, if you watch Shark Tank, I'm out.
You take a year, you take a second year to develop, and Arthur Smith's, who people would touted as this offensive mastermind. Mm-hmm. I think in year 2 he can hopefully improve, but it does scare me that he had 1 touchdown with Matt Ryan. Yeah. And now you go to Desmond Ridder, who played well today. Yeah. But with Desmond Ridder or Marcus Mariota throwing you the football, I do think he's going to have more than 1 touchdown. If he doesn't, then something went wildly wrong. Yeah. But it's scary. But honestly, I think he's my second tight end because of – I don't think he's the second best tight end in football. That's not even remotely close. Yeah. I just think that he's the injury concerns of both George Kittle and Travis Kelce scare me. I think we're both in agreement who the number 1 tight end is. Yeah. Mark Andrews. Well,
it's him.
I think it's Mark Andrews.
It's a tie between him and Travis Kelce.
Well, I'm talking about fantasy. I'm talking about fantasy. Yeah.
Travis Kelce's getting more targets now.
Yes, I like that he's getting more targets now, but again, he scares me with his injuries. Mm-hmm. But Mark Andrews now is also getting more targets because Marquise Brown got shipped away. Yeah. And he doesn't have the injury problems.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's tied. It's not 1 and 2. It's tied.
So, and this is where I'm at in terms of tight ends as well. To my point that I was trying to make with the Mike Gesicki thing, I think there's a clear group of top wide or tight ends, in no particular order. I think that's Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Kyle Pitts, and very unbiasedly too. If you want to look at his numbers, you can. Dallas Goedert is also in that list. I think those 6 are the top 6. Yeah. And then there's a stupid drop off after those top 6. Because then those top 6, you get into your Mike Gesicki's, your Tyler Higbee's.
It's very like, okay, this guy needs a tight end. I'm going to trade him my tight end for this star wide receiver or running back that he got in the first round.
Because there's that steep drop off. Yeah. Because I like Tyler Higbee, and again in the Mike Gesicki.
TJ Hawkinson is one of those guys that's a mid guy.
TJ's lives in that weird like middle ground that doesn't really exist.
He could go up though. I'm a believer.
Yeah, I think he.
But he's a desperate pick.
Yes, I wouldn't pick. So those top 6 that I named, I wouldn't pick him before any of those top 6. Noah Fant at one point I probably would have added in that mid tier, but now that he plays in that Seahawks,
here's what I'll say. We have more fantasy content coming specifically next week.
Yes,
lots of it because we still have our normal episode on Thursday. And then we have our draft coming up on the 21st.
Yes.
I will be putting out an announcement. We will have a draft show. However, how many people show up on that draft show is up in the air.
Yeah, so. We're a 10-man league. We're opening up the floor to all 10 people in our league.
Yeah.
To be a part of this. Whether all 10 people say yes, I can pretty much. I haven't got a fully guarantee. You guys had a little taste of Aiden on the draft show.
And Matt too.
But you guys had a little taste of Aiden on the draft show. I haven't got a yes from him, but we would be surprised if he didn't want to.
Yep.
You guys know and love Matt.
Yep.
So hold me on that. So you guys at least have a third person, so you don't just have to hear me and Ryan ramble too much about it. So, but it'll be fun. Stay tuned.
Here's what I'll say before we end. Because this, as we said before, it's we're getting a little emotional, a little cheesy. So this is the last one. I'm gonna restate it that Ben is able to do in person, and it sucks because it's like
I want to celebrate 1 year together.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounded bad.
So I mean, 1 year as a podcast, it's gonna be, it's gonna suck to have to do this year round and not have that potential. I mean, I'll try to go down there, but it's like it's lengthy. Life. Yeah, it's pretty life, So as far as this thing blowing up and in the way that we got it started and everything, it's just going back to the drawing board pretty much. And it's not that we can't do it, because I definitely believe that this podcast, like literally, I remember one point in time during this episode we were talking and I was like, I just like kind of laughed, and it was just kind of out of nowhere. But like I looked at the screen and I looked at you and I looked at our microphones and like what we're doing, and it's like, dude, I had like a brief vision of like creative genius that's just this is going to get big, and I truly believe that. And to see 2 new people come in and
just randomly, feeling.
I've never talked to them before. The fact that these 2 people came in and asked us for advice, it just shows the path that this podcast is going. What I'd like to say is that not only is this trending up, not only am I happy to be a part of this, but I wouldn't be able to do it without you, and being able to do this together with one of my best friends is incredible. I do want to say, I mean, it's, we're going to get to other fantasy questions later as far as like episode wise, but I think we're done for today. But without interrupting, I do want to say, as far as Ben, I mean, being able to do this with one of my high school friends, knowing that this has always been in the works.
Yes.
It was more of when than an if. Being able to settle down in January and put this together was a very big thing for me. But I am excited to see what you have in store.
Yeah.
He's got so transferring to that big college, to be able to move down there and do everything on your own, and it's a big step. It's a huge step. Me looking at it as a friend, first off, I'm inspired because I would like to do bigger things as well. I would like to be out on my own and do these things for myself as well. But most of all, I want to say I appreciate you making time for this, because we've said multiple times on and off air that this thing, I mean, it will not die. Like this show will keep going on one way or another, and it's going to involve both of us at the end of the day. But I want to say thank you for that. I want to say you're going to do great things. I want to say that, and you can come back to this whenever you feel like it too. But like, there will be tough times. There will be mentally tough times. There will be times where we're going to be going at each other's throats. There will be times where, it's going to suck, but this show will not make it without those moments. And we've already had a little bit of a taste of it, being tired, being stressed out with school, being stressed out with other things, being busy. It's just, this is what we have. I definitely feel like we've gotten closer since we've started it.
Yes.
But I just want to say congrats on the new step of life. I'm happy that we can end this as far as in person. Before you take this next step, I'm happy that we can take this next step together as podcast hosts. And for those of you that are listening, stay tuned because we've got plenty more left in the tank. So without further ado, I think we should close it out. I think we should do the conclusion unless you have anything else you want to say.
No, I mean, again, to your point, it's been a fun half year at this, almost half year. Not a wait, what episode is this?
This is 30.
This is 30, so over a half year.
Yeah.
It's been a fun over a half year doing the podcast. Like you said, it was, I enjoy doing it. It's been fun. It's not like I'm going anywhere. But
no.
I again, it's been such, I wouldn't say honor. I'll say honor, but a pleasure to do something like this and to see this kind of grow gradually with one of your close best friends.
Yes.
It's been a gift. That's a treat.
Yeah.
To be able to do something and have people ask us for advice and to see this grow with someone that you consider a close friend. It's been really awesome. And I'm glad we started this.
Yeah, for sure. So. Just to kind of close this out, we did get a comment. Swift for sure. Swift. It said full PPR redraft, Swift or Barkley. You want Swift for sure. Anyways, if you made it this far, I'm going to try my best to memorize this because normally I read it. If you made it this far, thank you guys for listening. Be sure to follow us on all platforms, whether that's Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts, as well as Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. We want to give a big thank you to Uppercuts Grooming. We want to give a big thank you to Anchor.fm for promoting us, as well as Regional Radio Sports Network and Overtime Sports Network. That is right here. Yeah, you got to point to it. In person. Last time, give it a good jab with the other side. If you made it this far, we want to just say thank you. Stay tuned for next week's episode because we have a lot in store. Ben's gonna be moved in.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean it should be good. But without further ado, we've got a lot in store. So please, stay tuned. But
absolutely.
Without further ado, I gotta look at this really quick because I ran out. Oh no. Please leave a review. That's what I was gonna say. Please leave a review down below because it helps us more than you know. And that's it for this week. So thank you for tuning in to the Pigskin Project. And until next time, see you later.